team all defense. First team all defense. First team all defense.
Let them know.
Welcome back. We're thrilled to be joined by Tony Allen, who, in case you didn't know, 3 times first team all defense was selected. Now, later, of course, we will get into story time with the 2 of these guys with the Celtics. But if we start that now, we would never get to everything else. So I want to do a famous run it back music. Come on, bring it to me, bring it to me. Oh, there we go. That's it. This just plays in my car over and over on a loop. It's true. Let's talk about what happened with the Jazz last night. Donovan Mitchell, 33 points, leading the Jazz to a 3-1 series advantage over the Thunder. Tony, you spent most of your career assigned to stopping the other team's best player. How can this rookie beat the likes of Paul George, Russell Westbrook, guys who've been in the league and have been famous? Paul George is famous for his defense.
Well, right now I just see a guy who's fearless. He got the seek and destroy mentality. I kind of think he got the Rookie of the Year trophy in the back of his mind, the way he's playing. He's playing phenomenal. He got to keep it up, and they got a chance to close out the Oklahoma City Thunder. 3 All-Stars. That's pretty good for a rookie.
Not bad. As you watch Donovan play, if you had to defend him, what would you do?
Well, off top, I see he demands the ball a lot. He's ball dominant. If we're going to pick and roll coverages, I'm fighting over him, muscling through all the screens. I'm going to have my bigs up and, you know, depend on my weak side to stop Gobert for the weak side. Now, we just have to have those guys beat us from the perimeter, but there's no way out of a rookie. Take hard foul or something.
That pride right there.
He hasn't even got a flagrant foul yet.
That defensive pride.
That's weird. I see Tony's phone here on the desk, and Billy Donovan's caught. No.
They could have used me this year. They chose Corey Brewer.
Right, man. Right.
I mean, I would argue Corey has been a good pickup for them in other ways.
First team, though. Right. You know how they go. But no, I really like the Thunder, though. Even still, they got a chance to come back, but they're going to have to stop playing possession to possession. Westbrook got to stop doing those home run assists, you know, trying to make home run plays and just play solid. I think they can get out of this.
Well,
they're done.
I thought they were done before the series, though, so there you go. And we did talk about the struggles of that whole team, but I do want to key in with you on Russell Westbrook because he's the reigning MVP. If the Thunder fail to come back from down 3-1, it'll be their 2nd straight first-round exit. And take a look at the plus-minus numbers. I mean, you know, people here are like, oh, you should take back last year's MVP. He didn't play like this last year. This is him this year right now in this playoff series.
Wow.
This is not good with him on and off the court. Take a look at that. I mean, Paul, when you look at this specifically, how do you feel about Russell Westbrook?
I think it's been very disappointing because I put Westbrook at a very high standard. He's an MVP. He averaged a triple-double. And when I watch this game, he doesn't look like the best player on the court. You know, usually I give the team an edge who has the best player. Donovan Mitchell, a rookie, he looks like the best player in this series. And so I'm just like a little disappointed because I know Westbrook is a better player than what he's playing. Sometimes he has to just slow down. Sometimes he has to just think out the game. You know, he's playing all his raw talent, but at some point you have to say, look, let me slow down a little bit, let me not get my anger into it, and just play and do the things I need to do for our team to win.
Yeah, sometimes numbers don't tell the whole story,
right,
you know, when you look at it, but as Paul just said, last year at this time, he was clearly the best player on the floor. Right now, that's Donovan Mitchell, and it's not even close, which says a lot, you know. And he's not only outplaying Russ, but he's outplaying their big 3. Yeah. And this is a rookie.
Right.
He's outplaying all 3 of those guys by himself, and then he's getting help, you know, from a lot of guys who are doing exactly what they're supposed to do on a night-to-night basis.
And I mentioned earlier in the show, it felt to me that Russ got distracted by sort of, I'm going to shut down Ricky Rubio, and Ricky was able to sort of, you know, bait him into, I mean, the first foul was Russ just accidentally tripped him, but the second one definitely was Ricky selling some contact and baiting him. When you played against Russ, do you know that he's so into it, he's so hyper, he has so much energy, can you bait him into some stuff if you want to?
You probably can. He played with so much emotion. But myself personally, I never did because he was too talented. But for the most part, I just think he gotta stay away from small stuff like that. I can recall back in 2004, Paul, you probably remember this. We was up 2-0 Indiana. and Ricky Davis on the side. Go get the brooms. Go get the brooms. And we couldn't believe that he was saying stuff like that because it's a distraction. But then when you go home, come back the next game, you got that on your mind. What Ricky said, you got to even play a little harder to try to make this word stand for something. And when you do stuff like this, it's added pressure.
That's so interesting. So when Russ is up there at the
We wound up
podium
losing
saying
that series.
teammates feel like they've got to do that. Russ last night was asked about Ricky Rubio, and he had a very different tune. Take a listen.
He made some shots, you know, too comfortable, but I'm going to shut that shit off next game, though. Guarantee that. Well, it's not about me or him. Let's get past that. We done with that.
First of all, you got a little Hogwarts look going on there. I got to shout that out.
You got to stay with it. You started the beat. You got to stay with it.
You got to own it. You got to own it.
See, I kind of think, like, that's what you got to, like, look, that's what you got to do.
own it,
What is he supposed to do? Carry this further? We're all up here saying it's a mistake,
Well, you got to own it. You know, you spit the words out, you spit the fire out, you got to own it. You know, when you spit the fire out and then you get burnt, it's usually, you know, I don't know. What you think, B. Scott?
I agree with Paul. You got to own it. I mean, he could have just said, listen, the man played great again. They won the game, and it's not about me and him. This is about the team.
So you think he should have said something first?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
well,
I mean, you made a statement.
I would say we'll look for what he says after Game 5, but this is interesting. ESPN confirmed that the league is actually reviewing footage of Russell Westbrook walking onto the court and joining this exchange between Raymond Felton and Rudy Gobert. Of course, we all know players face suspension for leaving the bench to join an altercation. That's come up in playoffs before. But here's the difference from, like, the famous Suns incident or whatever. Russ was standing at the scorer's table. So the feeling in league circles is that the league office is probably going to let this slide. But should they? They are reviewing it.
Well, I don't know how much of an altercation it was. It wasn't much of an altercation going on right here. Look.
In today's basketball, that's an altercation.
Like,
that's an altercation. I'm just saying, Paul.
So, you're right.
Back in our day, that ain't nothing. That's just, but today's basketball in the NBA, that's an altercation.
Well, then you have to look at Steven Adams because he stepped on the court also. I don't know if he was on the court currently, but you know what? That type of stuff is petty. You got to let that go. You know, the fans want to see the stars out there. There's no reason for Russ to get a suspension.
Adams was also waiting to check in.
Small potatoes there. We move on from that.
What do you think, Tony?
Well, we can't have Westbrook not play. If he don't play the next game, man, they could be getting
they'll be done.
Cancun,
like I said earlier, they'll be done.
It's over.
1, 2, 3, Cancun.
Well, you say old school basketball, Byron. Of the 3 games on tap for tonight, there is one that has lived up to the old school basketball y'all are talking about. Heat-Suxers. Look, this series has everything you want, right? Bad blood, star power, elbows, masks, stepping on masks. Tony, you've been in these kinds of grudge matches in Memphis. Do you expect more physical fireworks tonight?
Oh, yes. Considering the fact it's the East, you know, those guys play physical. We tend to forget that. However, I like this kid, Joel, and he's impressive. He's instilled a lot of excitement in the city of Philly, and I'm looking forward to seeing Game 5. This might be D-Wade's last game, huh?
It could definitely be Dwayne Wade's last game.
Chi-Town native, man. I want to see him come out this
Man. T.A., I am so excited. I'm going to go home and put my Laker uniform on and sit and watch this game. This is going to be WWF. This is going to be a flat-out war. Hey, D-Wade think it might be... hey, he coming out swinging.
And I already
Miami coming out swinging. I'm going to have my shirt. I'm going to be just like that. Got a ball in my hand. Hey, true. I'm going to be spinning that ball. And every time down, hey, Coach Brown, put me in. I can give you 5 minutes. You know, Eric Stroser, put me in. I can give you a few minutes, man. Look, I'm going to have my uniform ready to go.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be some power.
This gonna be back in the day type basketball, and I can't wait.
Tony,
I wouldn't go that far back in the day. But it's
back in my day.
Well,
not that far. You're right. You're right. Not that far. You're right.
Technical.
You're right.
Now you graze somebody. That's a flagrant. That's a flagrant.
You're out of the game. You mentioned Joel Embiid. I mean, he's a spice feisty as anyone. I mean, normally we say, oh, it's the enforcers who are like that, not the stars, but he is just as feisty as anyone, and this is his first playoff game in Philadelphia. Remember, he didn't play the first two up there.
Right.
So he is going to be so
You're going to see a lot of this.
pumped
You're going to see a lot of this today.
Oh, pumped
They
up.
haven't lost
You're
with
going to
him
see
in
a lot
there.
of that today.
They haven't lost with him in there.
Well, if that form holds, could this be, in fact, as Tony
WWF,
said,
baby,
the last
tonight.
time we see Dwayne Wade in action? Well, I mean, he came up so big for them earlier in this series. What do you expect, Byron, from him? If this really is, he thinks this is his last game.
Like TA said, if this, and I'm sure in his mind, this could be his last game. So he want to go out with a bang. And he's such a proud guy. He's such a champion. He's been an unbelievable pro. He's a Hall of Famer. There's no doubt about that. So he's going to go out there and give it everything he got. I wouldn't be surprised if he plays, 30, 35 minutes tonight, because it's a possibility of him being his last game. So, we all know D. Wade. The man, he's going to bring it tonight on both ends of the floor. I gotta believe that.
I want to ask the two of you, though, because, Paul, you said before the show we were talking about something else, and you're like, man, I miss those days, right? So that decision to retire, and Tony, I know you're figuring out what you want to do. Like, how do you weigh what you think you can still do in the game, or just the grind to getting your body ready and all the exhaustion of it, versus knowing that if you step away and really make that call, it's different?
D-Wade knows he can. No doubt he can still play the game. It's all about that grind. People don't understand what you put your body through during the off season, and you ask yourself, can I do this again? Can I go through one more summer running the sand beaches, lifting the weights, getting my diet together? That's the mental part to where you're like, you know what, I'm tired of this. You wake up. I knew it always was my last season. When I wake up, usually every summer, 6 in the morning, I'll get up, have my alarm on 6 in the morning, I'll press stop, go right back to sleep. I wake up 6 in the morning next day. You know what, I'm going to rest today, too. So it started turning into 1, 2, 3 days where I wasn't working out, and I was like, you know what, it's time for me. This is it, and I'm ready to move on after this year.
What goes through your mind?
Well, right now, man, I'm still in it, man. I'm trying to, every day find a way to get better. But like Paul said, that's the time when you don't feel like getting up and doing those tour days, it's about time to rest. And right now I'm looking at D-Wade. He's playing good basketball right now. I don't think it might be a time for him to hang it up, but then again, the way he's playing of late, I think he can still get another year out of this.
So there's the difference between the two of you, that when your alarm goes off at 6 a.m. right now,
You're
up.
Get up. I got to get up. I ain't been maxed out like him. I got to go get it.
Props out to D-Wade, one of the greatest ever. Honor
Absolutely.
to play against him. We had our differences on the court, but much respect to a 3-time champion, future Hall of Famer.
Well, he's not gone yet. We'll have to see. We'll wait. Now we've learned some personal things about the two of them you may or may not want to know. So there you go. I want to get to what the Jump recommends today. Zach Lowe examining the big question in Tony's old team. Does New Orleans still need Boogie Cousins long term? I mean, look, y'all know I'm Team Boogie. So talented, such a fun player. But you got to think about how all the numbers work out, and his deal is up. They've got to decide what they want to do in the offseason. So
that's what they need.
Well, he's there.
They need him long term. Get him like a 3-4 year.
Real smooth.
Real smooth?
Real